Hey, what's going on, everybody? How are you? I'm still over here at my desk, not over there in the studio. In the studio, good Lord. But anyway, how are you? Wave of Mutilation, hi. Um, just kind of a general BS session tonight. I will do the needful and ask A33K7 if you haven't already hit the subscribe button. Please do that. That is very helpful. Rabbit Wrangler, hello. Jimmy Invictus, greetings. Mead, Kabuki, hello. Good to see you. Kevin, how are you? But anyway, I am dirty and itchy. I spent a good chunk of the day, a fair few hours, um, cutting tree limbs back. A neighbor helped me do one of them, and my daughter Charlotte helped me do the other, which was not the other, the others. She was my spotter. Basically, I got on the ladder and got on the roof, and she passed me up the pole saw, and you know, uh, she would have called 911 if I had stumbled off the roof and face planted, which I almost did. I stepped the cables, the extension cord for the pole saw was kind of bunched up, sort of looped back and forth over itself, a nice rolly surface. And I did put my foot down on it and felt it roll forward, like probably just a few inches, but it was, you know how it is, like when you almost trip. So yeah, that was a little scary. But yes, I cut the trees away, and hopefully away they will stay. Um, hey, Michael, I hope you are safe and sound now. That is awesome. I'm glad you're up in Pensacola. Um, the only thing I am going further to talk about the storm is what I posted. Let me pull this up because I posted this over on Facebook just a little bit ago. So here's the long and short of it. The storm is bouncing up and down, and before I go into breaking my arm, patting myself on the back for not taking a hit from a hurricane, let me just say that the Treasure Coast over there, particularly Tampa, St. Pete, are going to get schwacked hard. This thing is not screwing around. So yeah, I'm worried about it. It could be a Cat 2 by the time it gets up here where I am. And if you don't know what that is, look up categories of hurricanes and their strengths. But that is not as bad as it could be. So 30 hours ago, I was just like, fear doesn't really do it any justice. I was numb from horror because I thought I thought we were going to have like 60 to 75 mile an hour steady winds and gusts in the like 90s to 100s. And I was just, that is like, bad utterly fails to tell you how bad that is. But right now, looking at Weather Underground, Track the Tropics, the NOAA website, and weather.com. Right now, it's going to be 30, 40 miles an hour, 30 to 45 miles an hour, and like some gusts in the 50s or 60s. Which, I mean, hey, it could still push a tree over, but it is not the life-threatening property and infrastructure destroying strength. Right now, this is Tuesday. This is 9 o'clock on Tuesday. I could wake up at 7 o'clock tomorrow and the thing is shifting again to the north and speeding up, and we're going to catch it right on the chin, and I could be right back in the state of shock and terror. But right now, I'm feeling better. Anyway, let me catch up with your comments. Zachary wants to know how my dog's doing. Zeus is fine. He is a very mellow old fellow. He does not like lightning and thunder. Never bothered him. When he was a much younger dog, we were walking on the 4th of July, and somebody fired off a bottle rocket. They didn't shoot it at us. It literally went up out of somebody's yard and arced over, and it popped maybe like 10 feet over our heads. And like, I jumped and he just, whatever. So he does not freak out. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, Superstorm Sandy was bad. And don't mistake the way I'm saying this, Kabuki, but you guys just weren't rigged for it. I mean, I know y'all understand nor'easters. I don't mean that in a negative way at all. It's just like, it'd be like, what if a blizzard happened in Florida? What if an earthquake happened in Florida? It's like, what? How do we even? So, thank you, Meteor Key Press. I appreciate it. You have family in Tampa. So, yeah, you have people who are going to get it coming and going. And we're right in the middle. Hi, Miss Bella Games. Hey, Savo, how are you? Savo, by the way, if you guys don't follow Savo over on Twitter, you absolutely should. You're doing yourself a disservice if you do not check out the Feifel the Elf artwork, because it is so nice. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. Thank you, Bob Jester. Oh, I guess I didn't do this. I didn't do this. Or did I? No, it's there. What I didn't do was the banner. The banner. Hey, Doc Flamingo, thank you for the super. We're on beam of it, Doc. We're basically going to get brushed by it. We're going to catch rains and some strong winds. Like, I would not want to go out in those winds, but as I was saying, it's not gonna. It's not, like, I'm not gonna step out in the morning or wake up in the morning and be looking at the sky. You know, I'm probably not going to be like out digging my neighbors out of the ruins of their homes. Pretty sure I got my face sunburned today up on the roof, which is kind of ironic when you think about it, but there we go. But anyway, so we're as ready, almost as ready as we can be. I say almost, there's no prep or anything. One of my neighbors is going to come over in the morning and we're going to put up the last piece of wood. It is a heavy, it's like an inch thick, 7 foot wide, like 4 foot tall piece of MDF. It needs 2 people. I am not the 34-year-old who purchased that. It is an insanely heavy piece of wood as these things go. How would a medieval fantasy setting deal with hurricanes if they were a thing in their climate? Hey, Matt Sherman. That's actually a very good question, Savo. I would say that they are. I mean, you know, when you have people who live in like wattle and stick homes. Hey, Shin, you didn't have to do anything, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It'll come in handy when it comes in handy. Thank you, Shinchara. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Which demon prince would I like to slap the shit? I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe Demogorgon, and I don't just say that because of the Stranger Things thing. But anyway, I want to put Sava's question up there. I would think that you would have druids probably able to tell you when it's coming once they figured out the patterns of them, but then refuse to do anything about it. No control weather spells or anything like that. As far as the impact, I mean, again, medieval construction, you would have a laird in his castle listening to the wind howl, and his village, the surrounding environs would just be utterly laid waste. He'd have to go get more villagers. But that's it for the weather report. That is it for the weather report. Now, I want to share something that's actually really, really super duper cool. By the way, I make it a point to put the supers up on the screen. So thank you, Doc Flamingo. A $2 doesn't even give me the option. But I wanted to put that up there. Anyway, so clerics can summon and control weather. Yeah. Oh, you got to do that, Orbital. You got to. Oh, right. Cool thing. So I have gone on. Hey, man, thank you. Thank you so much, Lord Koron. I appreciate it, man. I really do. That is very cool. Tress cool. That's three cools. So I go on and on about the fun I have on TTRPG Twitter, and it's been a little hinky and weird lately. But a number of months ago, I gained a Twitter follower because I started following his stuff because there's a dude from Japan um, talking about AD&D. I don't mean an expat. I mean a dude from Japan talking about Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So I started using Google Translate to talk to the guy. And by talk to him, I don't mean in DMs. I mean via posts. And yeah, it really, I'm not going to go so far as to say, oh, it's huge, it's massive, but yeah, there are people in Japan who play classic D&D. And I thought that was just the coolest thing in the world. So I followed him, and I would respond to him through Google Translate, and I would get likes and follows from other people in Japan. When was the AD&D first published in Japanese? I don't know. That is I should ask them that. If Cletus is 9 or at the tip, give you away. So just today, I saw a post that this person that I was just talking about had liked and commented on, and so I ran it through Google Translate. And this is a young lady, again, she's Japanese, who went to Dragon Days, and she's got a YouTube channel. And I'm going to share that with you guys. Now, the channel is in Japanese. They're all Japanese speakers. But you can turn on subtitles. Thank you, Flint. I appreciate it. But it would mean a lot to me if you guys would go subscribe to this channel. It's a small channel, but I want to see it grow. Yes, Wani, translation is difficult, Kabuki. Yes, Beckme is the most widely translated version of D&D. But the original guy, Highlance is his name. Or Highlancer, I don't remember. James, I don't know. I don't think so. But it was a lot of fun watching her live stream, and when I saw her posts, like translating her posts, and she's talking about how much fun she had at Dragon Days doing this thing and that thing. I was like, yeah, I'm friends with Paul Stormberg, and I was sharing pictures and stuff from it, and it was just a very positive, a very, very positive encounter. So you would watch me with a bad Japanese overdub. I don't. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, please give her a subscription. It's definitely worth your time. And I'll tell her I gave her a shout out. I'm not sure if it's Angie or Ange or something completely different. If someone has a handle on that, if that's like a Western translation of a Japanese name. the heck am I still doing here in Orlando? Living the dream, Luther. I'm living the dream of being a Florida man. But anyway, so yes, please, 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 if you would consider giving her a subscription. Sorry, I meant to turn that one on. You'll all get shout-outs at the appropriate time. Luther, what I was saying at the beginning of the live stream was that it's going to be pretty windy for a few hours, but fortunately it's going fast enough that the really severely gusty stuff will A, not last that long, and B, not that intense by the time it gets here. Don't worry, I'm gonna I have plans, okay? I have plans, guys. Don't fret for my AD&D books. Thank you for keeping us in your thoughts, by the way, everyone. Well, yeah, if you watch the videos, Savo, you just go to the YouTube controls and you can turn on subtitles. But anyhow, excuse me, yawning. It was a busy day today. Got just like I said, a few more things to do tomorrow. English, French, and German paperback publications. So I have actually mentioned this before to Jorge. I had a friend go to Chile a number of years ago. This would have been like 10, 11 years ago. He went to Chile and he actually saw a softback player's handbook in Spanish in a comic shop. It was like the Demon Idol art, the works. Corrosion of conformity. Yes, corrosion of conformity. Jimmy, it kind of doesn't matter. I am made to understand that Japanese Japanese fans of Call of Cthulhu are very fond of Cthulhu now, which, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? Role-playing in the 1930s in America is tough enough for Americans. But the Japanese, I imagine that's a little out of their wheelhouse. So Cthulhu now is fairly popular. But when you consider that the systems from 1st through 5th edition are essentially exactly unchanged, I don't think you can really say what edition is most popular. Now, I know 6 and 7 really changed things up, and of course, there's a schism about that. There always is. Very well put, Savo. Very well put. Geopolitically challenging. Now, I remember, like, one of the, outside of Speed Racer and Battle of the Planets, one of the first serious sit-down anime that I watched with a friend of mine was the Ixer, Iczer, Ixer series. We watched a couple of OVAs, and the bad guys in that are literally Lovecraftian monsters, like they are referred to as the Cthulhu. So, oh, thank you, Kyle. You knew I had merch. You goofball. How you doing, Skipper? That's, by the way, the Viking Hat GM. If you don't know, if you've just subscribed, if you're just watching this stream for the first time, um, that is Kyle. He is my co-host on Wednesday nights, and he is generally a really awesome dude who I like a lot. He's a stellar guy, and listen to his words of wisdom when he's on this show. Yes. I mean, he unfortunately he can't be here every session, but Kyle, you're yanking me. You did not know I had merch. Hey Kyle, guess what? I have merch. I'm gonna bop you, Lord Coron. But yeah, no, I really like Kyle a lot. He's a good dude and a good co-host. Hey, RPG Grandma, we're all right. We're all right. I'm not. You can sit back and watch like the first 8 minutes of the show, and then click the live button to come back to where we are now. Buy my junk. Do you guys want to buy my junk? No. Yes, I have this globe on lockdown. You're safe nowhere. The southern and northern hemispheres of planet Earth are under complete and total Delver control. Oh my God. So anyway, yes, go and check out Ange's website. I'll put it up there again. And we have 93 folks watching. And that is just swell. Thank you, everyone who is watching, whether you are over on Twitter or whether you are right here. Oh, James Liebengood. I missed that comment. I'm so sorry. James Liebengood asks, I wonder if they like Delta Green. That is a fine question. Another good one, which I could ask. I could ask about that. Moldvay Basic is a fine basic D&D. There's nothing in the world wrong with Moldvay Basic. Penguins love D&D. Yes, that is correct. RPG Grandma, her family's down here. They have come up from Tampa to her house in Orlando, which is relatively safer. I'm just a little disappointed, though, that Chaos... Now, I'm about to say it. Let me go check, because stuff changes. Drive-through RPG. Took me 3 times to try and type that. It's almost like my hands and shoulder and back and everything are, giving me problems because I spent hours this afternoon up on the roof cutting tree branches back. Anyway, where was I? Chaosium Publisher. Call of Cthulhu Classic. What did I just say? What did I just say? I said, and I quote, I don't like that layout though. Could you guys show me something a little better? I said, hey, I bet that I will click their listings and then I'll see like all the classic Call of Cthulhu stuff. And here it is. They have a Call of Cthulhu Classic page that is separate from the regular Chaosium page. Wow. Yes, they play D&D. That is, consider me shocked. So what do we have in this section? Newest titles. How about just like all the titles? Most popular. 1 to 30 of 64 titles. Okay. So they have a free conversions guideline. They have Cthulhu by Gaslight, which it's a setting. I'm starting to think that they don't really have the actual. So Cthulhu Now. Again, just a bunch of modern adventures. Cthulhu Dark Ages, Beyond the Mountains. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they don't have the classic rules. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking that they don't have the classic Call of Cthulhu rule books here. Nope, just all the adventures, which is kind of cool. Is there any photo of the penguin that inspired owl bears? Hey, Boone Flyer, haven't seen you in a minute. How have you been, buddy? Let me go back over here because I missed a Twitter comment. So I gotta open Twitter back up. Oh, I wish my brain were more awake. Oh, and by the way, I do want to apologize to everyone for no AD&D tonight. I am really, really sorry. Favorite version of the Owlbear? The OD&D basic AD&D one, which is essentially the same guy. The artwork done by Dave Sutherland is really good, but for me, the best Owlbear is the Jim Rosseloff Owlbear in Keep on the Borderlands, and I shouldn't even have to tell you what that looks like. That is awesome. Now, I will say until almost said Otherworld, may they rest in peace. Until Otherworld came out with their Owlbear, and then later I found the STL to the actual Chinasaur. God bless the person who scanned that. the best looking owl bear because it closely resembled the the uh, Jim Rosseloff illustration was actually made for Hackmaster. It is the only Hackmaster thing I've ever paid money for, and it's the Hackmaster Great Horned Owl Bear. And like all Hackmaster things, um, it was you know, stupid and over the top. Tiger lobster, isn't that what social media was a buzz with a few years ago? Those are the the parents that raise their kids to be like geniuses at the cost of their childhood. No, that's tiger mother. I was very close. Owls are remarkable for their ability to fly silently. Do owl bears charge noiselessly? They are not nocturnal ambush hunters. They're not. So here is my picture of the owl bear. No, Chad, I have been in storm prep. My brain is tapioca because I've been watching and waiting and worrying about the storm. But so here's the owl bear. And I have this pictured in my mind, so I'm going to close my eyes while I think about this. Owl bears are intelligent. Granted, they're low intelligent, but they're not semi-intelligent. So they're smarter than like a 4 or 5 int. So they could be like up to like an 8 intelligent, which is not, you know, that dumb. They're mean. You know, they're always the monster manual says they're always evil tempered. So watching a Gerard Butler movie just before your brain snap you over too. So here's the owl bear. The owl bear is named Steve. He lives in your neighborhood, which is generally a pretty good neighborhood, except Steve has let his front yard go. And Steve is always in his driveway working on the car. And he's always yelling obscenities about it. And he loses his temper. And he throws a wrench and puts another dent in his garage door. Usually about the time you get home from church or your wife is taking the kids to school. He's wearing a silk Cleveland Browns jacket that he has had since like 1989. And, you know, it's threadbare. You can hear a few threads tear every time he bends over in it. So that is, you know, he'll hit his thumb, start cursing a blue streak as you and the wife and the kids are coming back from the grocery store on Saturday. And he'll say, "Oh, geez. Oh, my God. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Jesus. God." You know, and you go over to talk to him, trying to be neighborly. And he offers you like a moderately above or moderately below room temperature light beer from Miller. He tells you he's got to get the starter on the Kia fixed or his wife is going to have his ass. That's Steve. That's the owl bear. Steve loves his pizza with pineapple. I'm so tired of that meme. Pizza with pineapple is good. It is. I like it. Um, maybe Steve is the guy who will go to a high school football game as an adult, even though he doesn't have any kids that go to the high school. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. Exactly, Mike. We all know a Steve. We all know a Steve. So that's the owl bear. Let me see, because somebody may still make them. Okay, so Iron Wind Metals apparently bought the Hackmaster Minis line. And you can get these. I thought your I thought your middle name was Wilson. Mike Wilson Art. Anyway, that it is a better looking owlbear mini than that image. That image says 2016, but I'm pretty sure that was the image that was on the card when I bought the Great Horned Owlbear miniature from. Who did I buy that from? Did I buy that locally? I don't think I bought that locally. Maybe I did. I don't remember. Wait, what was that? I don't. Would I assign as to our president? What D&D monsters would I assign to them? In what way do you mean assign to them? Like as companions, or what do they remind me the most of? Because those are very different things. So while I wait for that to come back, oh, uh, now I'm literally just going to say this, and I'm not going to discuss this. I'm just going to lay this down. For the front-running Republican candidate, the Verbeek. For the sitting vice president, the Harpy. For the sitting president, this is not an expression of him specifically, but rather, as things have gone, the flesh golem. And that's all I'm going to say. There's a mango jalapeno salsa. I have had a delicious mango salsa before. I don't remember what it was called. We got a jar of it in a gift basket when we moved into an apartment complex. They signed a lease. We signed our lease, and they brought us a gift basket, and there was all this tasty stuff in there. So, when Steve goes to his default dancing style is the robot. Yes, not your echo. Absolutely. So let me relate this. Um, uh, as best I can. Um, there is a now by chain I mean they have like 2 or 3 locations. Pizza place here in Central Florida called Broadway Pizza. Excellent Italian food, really incredibly tasty Italian food. Um, we when I moved in with my wife, I worked retail and I had weird hours. Like I might have Sunday and Monday off, and then work 1 to close Tuesday, um, 9 to 1 Wednesday, and 11 on Thursday, and then have Friday off to recover from that, and then have to work the Saturday, Sunday. It would literally just bop around week to week. It would change. Um, so I had a day off. My girlfriend, now wife, was was off at work, so I had no ride. I had no car, and I was hungry. And I knew there was a shopping center with a Broadway Pizza in it that was in walking distance. I had never been in, but I wanted to go to the used bookstore that was up there anyway. Was it used? No, it was a Books a Million. That's right, it was a Books a Million. And there was a freestanding Walden Books in the parking lot at the same place. So I wanted to go to the bookstores. So I walked up there, spring or summer Florida day. It was pretty toasty. So I walk up there, and as I come out of the Books a Million, I'm like, hey, here's this Broadway pizza place. And they had a lunch special, like $5 for 2 slices. So I go in and I sit down, and there's this big jar full of coins and money and so on and etc. Thank you, Meteor Key Press, for hanging around. So I look, and there's a sign on the jar that says, Save the Free Beer Fund. And I asked my waitress, I'm like, what is the Free Beer Fund? And she said, oh, well, you donate to the beer fund and you get free beer. I'm like, well, how much? And she said, well, whatever you got. But it's as long as you're eating. It was as long as you were eating. So I get 2 pieces of pizza, and I'm looking at their toppings, and I just literally pick stuff at random because it sounds good. And I ended up getting pepperoni, mushroom, feta cheese, sun-dried tomatoes. Because you could get up to, it was like a pepperoni slice with up to 3 toppings, and it was $5 for 2 pieces. This is 1995, kids, okay? And after all that, I got 50 cents. So I told the waitress, I said, hey, look, and I walk up to the counter and I drop the money in. And I proceed to slowly consume these 2 slices of delicious, delicious pizza. I mean, it was just good in general. It was good stuff. And I'm downing mug after mug of Ice House. Now, remember that part where I said I walked to the shopping center in the Florida heat? And yeah, so So I must have had 8 or 10 mugs of beer, and you've never seen the wall of shame? I'm sorry, the shelves of shame and the shelf of glory. So yeah, yeah, but basically connect. So I am just hammered, and I stroll on. I weebled and I wobbled, but I finally got home. I finally made it home, and it was it was good times. And when my girlfriend slash wife got home, I was like, babe, I gotta tell you about this place. This is incredible. And so yeah, I did that. They stopped doing that. They stopped the free. Apparently, we could not save the free beer jar, but we did dine there very frequently for many years. I did not, Robert. I did not. I did not. I was possessed enough of my faculties that when I got home, I had a lot of water. I had a lot of water. Oh, it's not really a new setup. And hello, Dungeon Minister. It's literally you guys. Move the seat back a little bit. You guys watch me when I'm over there. That like you see, there's the live sign and all that jazzmatazz that you see. And when I point in this direction, I'm like, oh, we're on the editing PC. That's the PC I'm streaming. Um, Wait, staff talked about that one guy who drank them dry. It was Ice House. Again, it was the 90s. They probably paid like $40 for a keg of it. I was telling some drinking stories. The only other time something like that has happened, at least in recent memory, at least in any kind of memory, um, was actually at Heidi and Eric's house. Uh, was it? Oh, I can't remember the gentleman's name now. Um, but Heidi had spotted cow, which I like, and she, um, the fellow to the left of me, didn't want spotted cow, so he left and went to some package store and got the beer that he wanted. And I jokingly told Heidi, I said, well, I'll drink whatever he doesn't. And every time I would finish a spotted cow, Heidi would set an open one in front of me. And I went to, I drank a bunch. I drank a bunch. We played for, let's see, it was like, uh, I'll have to ask Heidi, but we wrapped at like 5 in the evening. Yes, James, I was just telling you one. Um, so, and I dutifully drank, but I realized that she was apparently trying to kill me with alcohol poisoning. Um, Other gaming related drinking stories. Okay, here's a gaming related drinking story. I was not present for this and I was not involved in this, and I desperately wish I had. I've told this story before, but probably most of you guys haven't heard this. So, um, back in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Hey, player Zoom. Hi, I did not see your message pop up there. I am sorry. Hello to you, player Zoom. Um, Sometimes folks' messages pop up on the StreamYard thing, and sometimes they don't. Did that one? Yeah, I did not see that. Well, hello. If you're still there, player soon, hello. So anyway, hey, Jack Photon. Now, I uh, I will say that the two people I'm going to mention by name here are both good friends of mine. Back in the late 80s, my buddy Rob was uh, he was going through some stuff, losing his game shop because of awful business partner, and Rob could be a little abrasive. Rob could be a lot abrasive. And so Rob, now let me tell you about my buddy Kevin. Here's what you need to know about Kevin that's relevant to this story. Kevin is normally a Vulcan. When Kevin has been drinking, he turns into a Romulan. So they were having a discussion about champions. And but you never got into sacramental wine at the gaming table, Dungeon Minister. They had finished a game of Hero System. And Rob was being his usual obnoxious self, talking about the stats of players, not the characters, the players. And he was being kind of obnoxious about it. Kevin had drank his usual suitcase of natural light that night. And I have never seen Kevin like sloppy, and he was just so Kevin was getting sick and tired of Rob's nonsense. Rob being the way he was at the time. And so I am told, Kevin narrowed his eyes and looked at Rob and said, "All right, Rob, what would you say my presence is?" Presence is force of personality in hero systems. Like if you make a presence attack, basically you lean in and intimidate people. But presence can also inspire people and lead people and help people overcome things. So, so you think about, the Incredible Hulk, like presence of 25, because he's big, mean, and green and scary. There's an Amityville horror joke to be made there, Dungeon Minister, but I'm in the middle of another story. So Rob looks at Kevin and says, "I don't know, 8, 9. And again, I wasn't there. Kevin, who I should also point out, Kevin is like 6'6". He is a tall man, skinny guy, looks like a basketball player. Yes, Matt, yes. Kevin kind of goes, uh-huh, and reaches across the table and open-handed slaps Rob in the face, and then catches him like just whap, whap, and says, "What about now, Rob? What would you say my presence is now?" And by all accounts, Rob was literally shocked to silence. And I talked to Kevin about the You're a Vulcan when you're sober. You're a Romulan when you've been drinking. And Kevin said straight, "Oh, I'd have done it if I hadn't had a drop to drink." I was so ticked off at Rob at that point. It just whap, whap. I asked Rob like I had heard that story, and I asked Rob like the next time I saw it, it's just like, "Hey Rob, in hero terms, what presents would you say Kevin Wood has?" And Rob just, like a 15 or 16, just real quiet. Just, I wish I could have been there. Just whap, whap. Oh my gosh. Let me see. Somebody had asked something, a big question. Which dragon issue did the What's New dragon get statted up again in? Oh, somebody else is going to have to field that one. That is, um, I know more about the core books than I do about Dragon Magazine. I can tell you that. I have some favorites, but anyway, in response to follow up on the Black Fly comment is, if you've never seen it, the Amityville Horror is actually a very good horror movie. It's not true. It didn't happen. You keep a fix on Shadow Dragons, but it's been decades. 2 millimeters. It is a very Hero System gaming story, Michael. Do I like the Anti-Paladin class? Sure, as an NPC class, absolutely. I actually first encountered Growth in the Myth Inc. Adventures comics that Warp put out for like 10 minutes back in the mid 1980s. There you go, Viking hat. Anyway, so if you don't know the story of the Amityville Horror, a couple moved into a house in upstate New York. There had been some murders there. 28 days after they moved in, they fled in the middle of the night and told everybody, "Hey, that house is haunted by demons." And of course it's not, and it wasn't, and all that jazz and jazz. But there was actually a really good book, and if they had just sold the book as a horror novel, it would have been equally entertaining. Yeah, they didn't leave the Knights of the Fly infestation, which is getting to the Black Fly. So the husband and wife, George and Kathy Lutz, called a priest, Father Mancuso, to come in and bless the house. So the story goes. The father went upstairs and started blessing each room and said he heard voices and smelled a foul odor and saw flies, even though it was like late October, saw flies buzzing around on the window and heard a voice say, "Get out." And so he left. Hence, priest and black flies. And in the movie, it's played as a very intense scene. I mean, it's a horror book. Of course, it's intense in the book, and it's intense in the movie too. And the voice can just "Get out," kind of thing. And I mean, as a horror movie, I will absolutely rate it as one of the few horror movies that actually still scares me. It is supremely unnerving. And The Exorcist. But no, I mean, it didn't happen for real. Like, there was no, you know, hey, Daryl. Well, yeah, exactly. The devil's not going to rock up to. Although, I mean, how many have we seen where the evil demon thing is a child? But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. The priest comes down and says, "There's something evil in your house. I'm leaving and never coming back." Too bad we can't stay, baby. Um, I don't. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know that Amityville was a result of mental illness, even though one of the surviving Lutz kids, the parents passed away. George and Kathy divorced later. They stayed friends, but they divorced and they passed away. And to their dying day, they held true to the story that that the house was possessed, and they would say, "Look, we'll take polygraph tests," which yes, you can absolutely fool polygraph tests. Um, they bought the house for $80,000 in 1973 or 74, and I'm not sure how much that. Let me see. Let's do the old inflation calculator. Let's see. Let's set it to D&D's release 1974, 2024, and $80,000. It's $510,000, which, as houses go today, is not terribly expensive. Not for a 3-story house, basically a mini mansion on Long Island. Amityville 78, I think so. Yeah, exactly. Too bad we can't stay. But I think basically they bought too much house because Jay Anson wrote the novelization of the Amityville Horror. He said they came up with the name of the Amityville Horror uh, because George and Kathy and he all knew about H.P. Lovecraft, and they wanted to kind of lift a little bit off of that with the Dunwich Horror. Um, so they named it the Amityville Horror, and they came up with it over a few bottles of wine. And that by abandoning the house and forfeiting their mortgage, they were like, hey, but it doesn't matter, we're going to get rich. Yeah, Burnt Offering's another good one. Dreams of the Witch House. Yeah, I think they did put themselves underwater buying that house, and they ended up with more house than they could handle. I mean, I saw it didn't help my like 8 or 10 year old brain. No, it was younger than that. But it didn't help my child mind. But they actually did an episode of That's Incredible, if you guys remember that show, where they had um, a debunking of it, and they made a big deal in the book about this space. Hello, Lightmate. About this space under the stairs on Before Happy Days. That's right, Jerry. That was painted red, and when George opened it, he smelled like the salty odor of human blood and that sort of thing. And when they walked through the house with some of the DeFeo relatives who had taken over the house, they went like straight down there and they were like, yeah, this is the space where we stored all of our toys when we were kids. And we asked if we could paint it. And apparently the patriarch like just said, yeah. And like just got them like a small can of red paint and said, go to town. And so they painted it red. Yeah, stuff like that happens a lot in Viking Hat. So, yeah, it was just, it was not a, it's not a true story. Now, I'll tell you this. I mean, we're in the Halloween season, so might as well have some fun and talk spooky stuff. Oh, hey, Gonzalo Lira. There, bought some advertising. Thank you, brother. Runs a 5th edition pulp game on Roll20. Reach out if you might be interested. That sounds like a lot of fun. You guys should get in on that. Yeah, right on, Jerry. But, so Ronnie DeFeo Jr. got a hunting rifle, unalived 2 sisters, 2 brothers, and mom and dad. And he never, ever, ever, ever told a consistent story about what happened that night. Ever. Sometimes he implied that his sister did it, and they found powder burns on her hands that, like, she was like he and her were like, oh, we can't stand mom and dad anymore. Now understand, this is the early 1970s. It's in Long Island, New York. Ronnie DeFeo Sr. ran a Cadillac dealership. Who in New York might be interested in purchasing a Cadillac in the 1970s on Long Island from a guy with a name like DeFeo? Take care, Jimmy. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Now, Ronnie DeFeo was a junkie. Ronnie DeFeo Jr. When they dragged him out to be photographed in the press, when they transferred him from the local jail to wherever, dude was sporting a big black eye. Now, I could absolutely believe that the cops were so enraged by what he had done that they popped him. But here's my theory. I think Ronnie DeFeo Sr. was getting leaned on by the mob, and he said no. And they went to Junior and said, hey, how would you like to make some bucks? Kill your old man. Say you did it in a fit of rage. You do 6-7 years and sing. We'll take care of you. This is just my theory, Kabuki. This is just my theory. But hey, he's, Ronnie, he's not all right. So he tells his sister, hey, I got this plan. Convinces her to do it. Bang, bang. And then she carries on the brothers, the other sister. Ronnie sees what she's done and he snaps. Now we have a problem. Now we have a big problem. It wasn't supposed to be like this, The wife, that's a shame. The kids, now, Nassau County in New York, where this took place, was investigated by the State Bureau of Criminal Investigations for New York. And it was the most corrupt of all of the counties in New York. I think they got him into the police house and were like, you had one job, dude. And they beat him up. They gave him a beating and said, you're going away forever. If you say a thing, you're a dead man. Now, why they wouldn't just seal the deal right then, I don't know. How many total views from my videos? I have thousands of videos. I have like 1,500 videos because of the live streams. So I don't know, James. I mean, I'd have to go through. I can tell you what the most watched video in my entire library is. It is the and it's not up anymore. You can't watch it because it is copyright claimed by Warner Media. It is a concert for the industrial supergroup Revolting Male Chickens. Thank you, 33K7. And the concert is called You Gosh Darn Son of a Biscuit. But you know what? I've gotten lots of supers. It's Revolting Cocks, You Goddamn Son of a Bitch Live. So I found the individual videos for it on a different video hosting site, and I threw them into some editing software, and I pasted them together seamlessly because it's a concert. It's not like there was much to do. Frame ends, frame begins. And I pasted them together, and I uploaded it to, I see what you did there, Gonzalo. I uploaded it to YouTube because the only place that it was available, it was originally put out by Wax Trax Records. And Wax Trax went the way of the dodo. And they only put it out on VHS because the concert was in 1988, I think. Oh, thank you, Lord Corion. It's getting wild. But anyway, so the that my little corner of the internet was the only place that you could see GDSOB live at all. And I hope people used YouTube scrapers to download it. However, Ministry or Warner apparently bought enough of Ministry's catalog to include Revco, because Al Jurgensen and Paul Barker of Ministry were part of Revco, along with Luke Van Acker, Chris Connolly, and a few other luminaries from the Wax Trax library. But it sat up there for years, and I think before I took it down, it had like 80-something thousand views. Yes, Fetus was on the Wax Trax label, Gonzalo. They absolutely were. So, yeah, the Gary Gygax interview, I mean, it's done well. Now you guys have got me curious. I'm going to go look at this stuff. So I typically, let's see, that's not it. Where is it? All right. Let's go right back there. You know, it might still show up. It might still show up. Oh, someone unsubscribed. Goodbye, nice person. Thank you for hanging out. Analytics. Content. Well, no, I gotta go to content tab, not that. All right. So, views. Yes, the concert, 84,000 views. The next most watched video is Wizards of the Coast employees in revolt, which is interesting because it also has revolt in the title. Oh, thank you. That's my audience. And then the next one, that is 59,736 views. The next one after that, basically my most watched videos are all because of the Wizards of the Coast kerfuffles. The first video after Wizards of the Coast employees in revolt that breaks that chain is an interview with Gary Gygax at 9,230. Then there's D&D Beyond addresses rumors from, is there a date on that? January 19th of 2023. And then there's Half Species Must Go, says Wizards of the Coast, from April 6th of 2023. And then all the way from March 7th, 2015, coming in with 8,853 views, Keep on the Borderlands Memories. Take care, Lightmane. Thank you again for looking up the number. And then it gets back into the complaining. The Great Kingdom trailer, interestingly, only has like around 5,000 views, 4,965. And after then, they just kind of get into a very mid number of views and comments. I can't view by like most comments, so I don't know what the most commented video I have is. I would tend to think that like it would be commensurate with views. Um, a super chat. I had intended to do a yeah, Wizards of the Coast employees in revolt 661 comments on that. I had intended to do like a huge uh, recap back in January, and things just like I was going to basically do. Okay, it's been a year. What's happened? But I just time just got past me, and there would be no point in doing it now. I mean, it's just an artifact of history at this point. What I find odd is the concert video, I can still view its metrics, has 20 dislikes. Now, I don't care. If you click the dislike button on a video, you're interacting with me. YouTube doesn't care. Watch my video for 3 seconds, for more than 3 seconds, and click the dislike button. YouTube's like, cool. No, the live streams don't get hardly any views. I've had one or two go up into the thousands, but nothing like the standalone videos. The standalone videos are just tremendously more watched. I mean, I guess I mean people still make videos that people click on and watch beginning to end about like DashCon, for God's sake. But what I probably should have done, I didn't know how to YouTube when I started YouTubing. But apparently what I should have done was made a channel that was just for live streams, and then a channel just for content. But I didn't know to do that. People are like, well, it hurts your content videos. Live streams hurt your content videos. And I'm going to make the off-grid OSR RPG gaming video. I don't know. Hello, Nordic. Yes, things are fine right now. Yeah. Nobody, in 3 years, no one is going to be watching this video. There's literally, I have told my feelings on the Amityville Horror, I have mentioned like multiple times. I know I've told the Kevin slapped Rob story before, and I may have told the Broadway pizza beer drinking story once before. But nobody's gonna come back and watch this video. I will tell you this: my birthday is January 23rd. All of that stuff with Wizards of the Coast started blowing up the week before that, and Kyle was there. Kyle will tell you guys that first live stream I did, because I was doing like a couple, 3 videos a day because news was coming out so fast. and so heavy. Um, that's very funny. YouTube viewers are like my wife. They've all heard these stories before. But stuff was coming out so fast and so heavy that I was doing multiple videos a day, and YouTube rewarded me by pushing up my channel for a very brief period on the front page because it was such a hot button topic. And the first live stream I did, which was also my birthday, we broke 100 viewers on that, 100 live viewers, I think. And so many people were live. And Kyle is messaging me. Kyle was private messaging me like stop looking at the live chat. I will send you chats. Stop looking at the live chats. You will get buried here. Because it was just, I mean, it was just flying. And it was basically one of those situations where it was like the aircraft is out of control and it like takes 2 pilots to fly it. And Kyle's like basically, I'll monitor the engines, just keep us in the air, kind of thing. And that was nuts. And I can say even with Twitter, because I know a bunch of those over here. I know a bunch of those are not active people watching over on Twitter. They watch it for enough seconds for it to register to StreamYard. But imagine if it was, and everybody watching over on Twitter was making comments and dropping supers right now. And it was just because people were like, hey, this is the guy who's been giving us all this news. And I was very touched by some of the comments on those videos because people were like, you are the only source of news that I'm hearing from this stuff about, dude. Thank you so much. Some of the complaints were pretty funny. Like there was one guy who posted multiple times on a number of those early videos because I very quickly, I was like, got to use the hashtags thing. And I was hashtagging the hell of it. And Wizards of the Coast, WotC, and Hasbro. Always a hashtag. And this guy in the comments was pissed. With me. So shut up talking about Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons doesn't matter. Magic the Gathering matters, not D&D. All I see is links for your videos. But you know what? Guy who posted that over and over again, you made the problem worse for yourself. If you thought it was a problem, you made it worse for yourself. And it matters to me too, which is why I was reporting on it. But this Magic the Gathering player was very unhappy that I was talking about Dungeons & Dragons because it was showing up in his feed. I don't want to see this video. Why? I don't like the video. YouTube will stop. It's the bowl of water. It's the bowl of watery death. It looks like a cistern for summoning water elementals, but as soon as you cast the summon water elemental, you shrink down to the size of an ant and fall in, and there's no scooping you out. Only a wish will get you out of the bowl. And when you die in the bowl, no raised dead, no resurrection. Right? No, I just let him rave on. I mean, Michael Connors has reminded me of the time Rikita abandoned Pi with the stream still running. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder whatever he could have been up to. Ty's awesome. I got to try and get him on the show again one day. I like Ty a lot. Yeah, the bowl of watery death is pure guy. And there's no indication. There's zero indication. I mean, I guess identify. I remember a friend back in like 89, 90, 91 maybe said, "Hey, you want to try this game?" And we opened a few booster packs and I played it and I was just like, yes, that's right. Raven C.S. McCracken, inventor of CCGs. The funny thing about Magic the Gathering, so Wizards of the Coast had one thing going on: Robo Rally. Anybody ever play the board game Robo Rally? WotC wanted to publish an expansion for it and a new print run of the game itself. And they didn't have any money, and this was well before crowdfunding was a thing, and it's not like you can go to an investment banker and say, hey. So they literally invented Magic as a one-off thing to fund more Robo Rally sets. So that's I found that to be a fascinating story. That sounds about right, Kabuki. Yeah, I remember so you guys see the Space Hulk set up here. That is the only 40K thing that I really like is Space Hulk. And I was particularly taken with the Deathwing expansion for Space Hulk 1E, which, like an idiot, I never bought Space Hulk 1E. Or the expansion. That's going to be available forever. And I never went back and bought it, but my wife had heard me talking about it, so she bought me that glorious second edition set. I'm gonna answer that question, Nordic. I have started. I will come back to it. And I remember seeing in the 90s when everybody was trying to do CCGs, there was a Deathwing CCG from Games Workshop. I wonder if it was any good. But I just, see, playing a card game just completely takes me out of the lore of anything. Yeah, it's way out of print. So the capital C collectors market has come to GW stuff in a big, big, big way. Like, good luck getting at least somewhat rare Lord of the Rings fantasy battle miniatures nowadays. Fortunately, if you just want a crap ton of the really nice metal ones, people are usually willing to part with those for next to nothing on Fleabay. Anyway, I want to answer this question. Nordic asked me what was the first weapon used by my first Dungeons and Dragons character. You know what? I gotta go with the hello, Harmony Ginger. How are you, young lady? I hope you're having a wonderful evening. I bet you have a full house right now, don't you? But anyway, what was this? Oh yeah, the collector's market has swept through in a big way. I was talking about something else too. Oh right, yeah, CCG is just kind of. Anyway, to answer your question now, Nordic, to give you a full answer, it would have been a longsword. My fighter magic user that family friend Mark ran in when I would have been in middle school, I think. We played U1. U1. Did we get to U2? I don't remember. But we definitely played U1. Because I remember finding the false lodestone. And it got stuck to my hand. But yeah, I played a fighter magic user. Don't remember his name. Like I said, I've always kind of been a perma DM. But yeah, he had a long sword. I think I was like, oh, on a long sword and a short sword. I don't know why I thought, like, yeah, I need a short sword also. Do I remember it? No, I can honestly say I've never heard of that person. Graph paper, get out. Log off. Delete your account. You have that gargant. So funny thing about the designer's edition of Ogre, for just a couple $1,000s more, they would put seats and an engine in it, and you could just drive it home from the game store. The thing was enormous. I have, I got the reprint of that came out in like 2012 or 2015 or something. Maybe it was 2017, so it would have been 40th anniversary. But it was pretty nifty. I mean, it is pretty nifty. It's over yonder. What is one weapon Nordic asking the good questions. It was one I utterly despise, most players insist on using. I can't say that there's one that I really don't like utterly despise. I am really surprised. I could get to hate it if someone insisted on taking. I think it's either the Speedum or the Rensewer. I'm gonna have to see, because this is oft overlooked. People don't really Ooh, I don't know if it's in the player's handbook or the Dungeon Master's Guide, actually. So there it is. Red sewer. Oh, let's look at the Dungeon Master's Guide. One of the pole arms, and it's one of the weird ones, if you hit armor class 4, it disarms the character, or it disarms the target. I could grow to hate that in a New York minute. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Oh, it's both of them. Okay, yeah. So this is. Let me share this up. I'm not sitting at the streaming PC, so I'm a little. No, it's not the bill hook. So, yeah, Speedum and Ransour both have a single asterisk. Any others? No. Just the Speedum and the Ransour. Weapon capable of disarming an opponent on a score required to hit armor class 8. Do you know how that would frustrate me? If players were just like clank, 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 and then the monsters were, oh, we got to grab our weapons up. And on the round, they're grabbing their weapons up. The party, because armor class 8 fighters or some flavor thereof, armed with speedums, let me see. The combat tables and attack matrices. I mean, to hit armor class 8, even a 0 level only needs a 13. You throw a bless and a prayer, that becomes an 11. So half the time, your front lines are just going to be like clank, 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 clank. Yeah, Viking Hat is entering that territory. So, yeah, I mean, if my players ever cracked open the player's handbook and read that, like, wait a minute, disarm? And you start getting up into the interesting levels, and that's like, oh yeah, I'm a 5th level fighter, I'm proficient with Speedum. Yeah, you're going to put down that sort of soul-sucking clank. How much strength do I need to dual wield Speedums? Oh my god. That is funny, Kyle. Thank you. I needed a laugh. But now, let me see. Ransour. In case you guys were wondering, basically a Ransour is it's a spear that has like curved forks on the on either side of the spearhead. Yeah, yeah. The next time that they do it, so let's see. So there's that. I would be willing to bet that a Speedum does the same thing. Yeah, a Speedum, it's a spear, and then behind the head, it has like a crescent moon shaped bit. And all you need to do is hit armor class 8. Clank, clank. How about you, Harmony? Have you had any players troll your game with speedums or ransewers? Or any of the rest of you guys? A folding speedum. Oh no. just some just just pull it out of your pocket and do the butterfly knife trick with a speedum, but it unfolds into a full pole arm. Ow, that hurt. Like I said, a lot of time spent up on the roof today. Flick back, but exactly. Just the penetration tip. There's not one of those in AD&D. You guys are going someplace weird, aren't you? You are all a bunch of weirdos. How many clerics learned to use a lucerne hammer until we learned what it really was? Had a dwarven fighter cleric who used one. I see what you did there, Mead. Swiss polearm. Is that a polearm that's just got a bunch of holes in it? Oh, gosh. I think if you have pilums, you have to go see your doctor about that. That could be a, you know. Anyway, I hope that answers your question about is there a weapon that I hate? Um, I could grow to hate that. I could easily grow to loathe the character who says, I'm taking weapon proficiency in Ransuer and in Speedum. I would just be like, get out. Can I ratchet strap the root down? But what would I attach it to? Uh, no, we're not going to get, like I said, structurally. If you're prohibited to speed them, your backup is a fighting. That's just like I am trolling your game. That is as horrible as tee hee hee macaroni. My favorite suit of armor as a player is plate mail. As a DM is probably something like splint or banded. No, you can have the tum. Graph paper architect. You can have the tum. Man catcher, is that also known as a cougar? No, a cougar would be a college student catcher, which doesn't roll off the tongue like man catcher does. But what are you gonna do? Sonic with the speed of he uses on combat, and always goes for the head. He always aims for the head if the opponent. And he wears leather armor and is an elf and is Dex 18 and is a ranger. I think it's supposed to be Savo. That is a fine and good serious question. By the way, Lorica Segmentata is one of my favorite albums by the Police. All right. But now, let's look up. So, banded mail, according to Wikipedia, is a neologism coined in the 19th century, describing a type of composite armor formed by combining the concepts behind the Roman Lorica Segmentata with splint armor. Its historicity is highly doubtful. It became entrenched in the popular consciousness as a result of its inclusion in the armor list for Dungeons and Dragons. So there we go. So banded mail ain't a thing. Oh, now I can't highlight that. Do we have a Feifel and Lorica Segmentata strip coming up, Savo? A monk with steel-toed boots that only ever kicks people. I'm guessing he wears bracers and boots, the white t-shirt with rolled up sleeves. I could build a stronghold anywhere in Greyhawk. What would I build and where would the stronghold be? If my budget is unlimited, I would probably build a walled town along the lines of probably, I don't know, something like maybe Avignon or something like that. And I would try and build it in a relatively peaceful place. Maybe, I don't know, Perrinland. Definitely nowhere on the Wild Coast. Or near the anything like that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe deep inside the Great Kingdom. Not unlimited. Okay. Concentric Keep. Again, deep inside the Great Kingdom. I tried to get Paul Chano on the show. Oh, excuse me, guys. I tried to get Paul Chano on the show, but he was like, what would I really have to discuss about D&D? I played it once when I was a kid, and my jam was more stuff like Zork and Bard's Tale and so on. So, but we had a good exchange. He he wasn't like pissy about it. A monk in ballet shoes would be formidable. Yeah, it's getting kind of late for me too, guys. I mean, for just an impromptu stream, this has taken a long time. But I do have to give serious shouts out. Thank you to Doc Flamingo for the super. Shinchara Lord Corion, Gonzalo Lira, and Lord Corion again. Thank you guys. You literally help keep the lights on around here when you do stuff like that, and I really, really appreciate it. I know you guys got opening credits, no closing credits. I just kind of did that as a lark. I don't have all my stuff here at this PC, so I don't really have a like stuff keyed up, and there's different things on that PC, and it's wired completely differently. So I'm gonna get cleaned up a little bit tomorrow. I'm neighbors coming over, and we're gonna put the last big huge piece of wood on the living room window. Then I'm gonna go around back, and I'm gonna shoot some boards over the back window, and then I'm done. And then I'm gonna make a cheesecake. I'm gonna make a key lime cheesecake tomorrow. I'm gonna make it, bake it, let it cool, freeze it, and then if we lose power Thursday, it'll slowly start to thaw. I will, Savo. I will. All right, guys. Be good to each other. Love you all. Happy birthday. You should have led with that, Nordic. We would have just birthdayed it up with you, brother. I'll try and stream tomorrow, guys. I am sorry again for the jank nature of the streams. I really, really am. I feel awful about how these things are just kind of junk. It's bad. It's bad YouTube. I get it. But anyway, yeah, love you all. I'll see you around.